I would just like to start off this video with saying a very warm and happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. I hope that you are finding yourself in a space of gratitude and giving today. And if you happen to be in the kitchen preparing for today's festivities, props to you, and I hope that everything turns out to be a smashing success. I have confidence in you. And last year, I was feeling a little insecure about things in my own life, given my work situation and the fact that I wasn't sure if I'd be able to perform and pull off an entire Thanksgiving meal on my own. But I'm happy to tell you that all's well that ends well, and it was a smashing success. Last Thanksgiving, I pulled it off and was able to cook for everybody, and I had some help making some pecan pies, which we ended up burning because butter dripped out of the pan and nearly caused mayhem, and all the smoke alarms in the house went off, and my host was graciously freaking out because he didn't know how to turn the smoke alarms off, but it made for a very memorable experience. I just have to say that I'm so thankful for everything that it's taken to get me to the point where I am in my life, and everything that it'll take to get me even further. And I humbly accept all of this and hope that you can too in your own journey. In my last video, I had an intimate chat with you all about some of my insecurities and challenges and adventures and the confidence that it took to get me through all of those times. And I just have to say that I am proud of myself, and I'm proud of all of the people that have helped to support me in my journey. It has been such a communal effort in the raising of my adult spirit, and I'm just so proud of myself that I was able to take that leap of faith and move to Oregon, all the way to the tippy top of the coast, 10 hours away from everything that was familiar, and give myself what I truly needed, which was peace and solace and solitude. I am happy to tell you that everything worked out well with my job up there, and I didn't have to quit, and I didn't have to find a new job. I was able to improve my performance in the 2 weeks that I was given, and there was no bump in my pay, and things kept rolling. The winter on the Oregon coast was something to remember, especially since I happened to move there during a fluke year, which I had no prior notion of until I got there and experienced it. I was living in Warrenton, Oregon at the time, which is just below Astoria. So I was up there and I was in it. And every 7 years, the Oregon coast experiences in that region a very unique experience. There was a snowstorm that came through during Christmas. Boy, oh boy, did it snow, and it came down, and it didn't stop for a while. Seeing the coastline all bitten with frost and covered in snow and ice was so magical, especially with all of the elk that herd there. They just look like these magnificent beings. It's only something that people might experience once in a decade, but for me, it may have been once in a lifetime, and I will cherish those memories for as long as I live. I ended up spending a total of 6 months living up there on the coast and working in private homes and in rentals where people would come and stay for their vacations, and it taught me so much. I was given 1 day to train on the job, and then I was thrown into the mix. So the fact that I got reprimanded for my performance a couple months in was honestly something that now I look back on as a huge blessing, because they trusted me and they gave me the opportunity to work entirely alone in these homes and in these places that I'd never been, doing a job that I was somewhat familiar with, but not held to those standards and not in that environment. So I give myself props now, looking back and seeing how much it was a struggle and how much I thought that it was something I should take personal. It honestly wasn't. It is only in the sense that I did it and I succeeded, and I proved myself that I could do anything if I set my mind to it. I could leave a town that I'd been familiar with for nearly over a decade, and I could go somewhere entirely new where I knew almost no one, and I could make a life for myself in inclement weather, no doubt. It was truly something to remember, something for the books, you might say. I had a lot of beautiful times with some very special people, and one in particular who has been sort of a staple person in my life for nearly a decade now. And since then, I've had to let them go, but it was truly so special to be able to move up there and spend quality time with, honestly, the one person on this planet that I wanted to be around at the time. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that the universe made that happen for me, and that I made it happen for myself and for him too. And I'm just so grateful. We had so many awesome adventures, and I drove back and forth to Portland area from the coast over a pass that was sometimes covered in ice or just drenching in rain, and it was never too much for me. There were a few times where my night blindness came into play, and I was like, what the actual am I doing out here? And why am I driving an hour and a half to go and see someone when the weather is just so crazy? Most people might not even want to leave their house. And I have to tell you, the reason is love. And that alone was worth all of it. It was worth the struggles and the growth that I had to go through, both on my own and with a friend I love dearly. And it was worth every minute. So the reason I ended up leaving Oregon was not because of my job or because of anything like that. And it wasn't even really because of the loneliness, although that definitely played a role in the end. My dear friend had something happen in his life. He had to move back to his hometown suddenly, which happens to be my hometown. And the weather was so crazy at the time. There was a bomb cyclone out in the ocean causing winds of 65 miles per hour where I lived on the coast, and that is only 10 miles per hour shy, or 10 knots shy, as the sailors might say, of an actual hurricane. So you might imagine trying to huddle in my trailer where I was living and make the best of it and hope that the roof didn't cave in, but there was definitely a point where it started to, and I kind of had to move back because my one emergency contact had just moved back to California, and I was alone up on the coast, kind of like a leaf in the wind. it didn't feel like that until he had to leave, and then I realized how alone I truly was up there. And while this solitude served a magnificent purpose in my life for a time, on January 3rd of 2022, I decided that it was time for me to go home. I just wanted to move up there for so long, and the timing worked out so well. I was able to camp along the coast all summer of 2021 and just really find my niche and find myself up there. I also found some amazing pet sitting clients and was able to have some time with some amazing pets and play with them, take them out, and even have them over at my house, which was just really special. It paved the way for me to realize that I wanted to do that when I got home, and I have continued pet sitting, and I'm still doing that now. I have a couple clients that I'm actually meeting this week, and I can't wait to meet them and their pets. Oregon was an adventure, to say the least, and that's exactly what it was supposed to be. I thought that I was moving there to make it permanent and that I would end up with a property and everything set up there so that people could come and visit and see my new life. But what I didn't realize at the time was that I just needed to get away. I had just been through a really hard breakup and I needed a friend. And I found that in Derek. And I found it in Oregon. And I think that I will definitely be back for visits. But for now, my path has taken a different turn, which I am so thankful for. You might remember me mentioning in my last vlog that I was daydreaming about getting a job at a nursery. Well, the funny thing is, the very next day, Thanksgiving of last year, I met a new friend who ended up getting me a job at a nursery down in Northern California, where I now live, and I was able to work there for almost a full year. And man, did I learn a lot. I can't wait to share with you more about that journey and where I'm at now, but I can tell you that everything happens for a reason, and I am so thankful. Not just today, which is Thanksgiving, a day where we are supposed to be grateful and thankful, but every day of my life. And I am just so thankful in general. I hope that the message of today's video will just be one of encouragement and one that maybe helps propel you forward in one way or another, that you are capable. You're capable of overcoming surmountable obstacles, and you're capable of manifesting your dreams. And when you speak things out into the future, into the universe, it hears you, and you will get there, especially if you believe in yourself.
Say goodbye. We had good days, thought they'd never end. Night sunny day. I didn't know it then. We were young and didn't give a damn. Years would never pass.
Absolutely not. Look away. Look at the California puppies. Look at the California geese. Oh!
He's getting Beethoven's bloomers all dusty in his nose.
Okay, guys. Like, here he is. Oh.